Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Zwift Racing League Recons. Today, we've got a new route, a new season, new rounds, and a lot of new rules to go over. Buckle up, sit back, and let's get on with the intro. Man, doing that intro it gave me goosebumps. Being back, it feels good. I feel refreshed and fresh compared to what I was at the end of last year, going into the ZRL finals, which was a whole confuzzle. Anyways, listen, we've got 4 rounds this year. Not your first, second, and third round with a final. There's 4 separate rounds, so it doesn't really matter if you skip out on a round. You are going to be right there in the thick of it with your team each and every single round. Now, along with the rounds, there are a little bit of a mix-up here with the different rounds and the length of them. First off, the first round and the 4th round are only going to be 4 races long. Typically, these are the rounds that are either your most exciting rounds or the least peopled rounds, I guess you could call it. Being in both the fall and the spring, people just want to get back outside in the spring, and the Zero finals haven't been as, popularized as they used to be. Now, going into round 1, we have the Coastal Clash. It's going to be recognized by the purple and teal colorways, and you probably guessed it from the title of the round, Coastal Clash. We're going to be on the coasts. We're going to be towards the water, the beaches, the sand. We have 2 new routes this round. Of the first one on the TTT, which is today's Recon. And then we're going to have a new route, the Jarvis Southside Sprint of some sort of whatever it's called. Another thing to note about these rounds is that A, B, C, and D, we're going to be splitting up our categories this year. A and B are going to be getting one route, while C's and D's are going to be getting another route or a different distance for some of these routes. So you need to make sure that you're watching the correct video on these recons. I'm going to be trying to break down each race for each category. Now, we don't have official point structures out yet for the points races and also the scratch races, but I'm going to tell you right now for the time trial, it's going to be how your team ranks up against the other teams. Basically, get in line, follow the leader, and do what you're told, and put the power down. So there's not really going to be too many points issues or anything you need to really know for these. So I'm going to completely skip the point structure until next week. Also, I don't have any of that information yet, so can't help you there. Just be fast. Now, according to the WTRL website, this route is 26.3 kilometers long and has a total of 146 meters of climbing. The bike choice, I almost forgot. We got to talk about bikes. We got to talk about frames. We got to talk about upgrades. Oh, we got a lot of stuff to go through today. People like me who have been riding outside this year, shocker, typically don't do that. I am so far behind on my bike upgrades. I don't have the S-Works bike upgraded. I don't have my time trial bike upgraded. They also cost a decent amount of drops, so if you don't have drops, you better start riding. Either way, bike upgrades are a thing. There's 5 levels per bike, I believe, and the time trial bikes, it takes time. You have to be on the bike for a certain amount of time to get those upgrades unlocked to eventually purchase it. For regular road bikes, it's all about distance, and then you can, once you get to the certain distance, you can then buy it. Now, for today, there are new DT Swiss disc wheels. That's what you're going to want to rock on this time trial. If you have them unlocked, good for you. If you're just a scrub like me, you're going to be using Old Reliable, the old disc wheels, and those are going to be almost just as fast. You're going to be losing maybe a few watts here and there. For the bike choice, I'm going back to Old Reliable. The Cadix Tri is still the fastest frame in the game. I guess they've kept their payment up with Zwift, and maybe we'll see a new one this year. I don't know. But then the last thing to talk about before we get into the route is going to be the new pack dynamics. Pack dynamics 4, 5, I'm not sure what they're at yet, but either way, it's a new pack dynamic. So you haven't been on Zwift in a while. It's good and bad based on the steering implementations that Zwift has had. Basically, it kind of helps people that don't have steering being able to kind of blob their way back into packs. So it's going to help a little bit with team time trials and not having steering, which steering is disabled in this first round. I should have mentioned that earlier, but there's a lot here. But there's a lot of jokes going around that it's basically a pinball game. You're going to get bumped out to the side, and then you're going to like fly back into the group and stuff like that. It's exactly what it is. Personally, I think it's been pretty nice, honestly. I don't see too much of a difference. Sometimes my avatar is going to, come into the group and then just launch off to the side, and then I have no draft, and then I'm getting dropped. Let's just get on with the Recon. My ride currently starts at the 3 kilometer mark, so whatever distance you see in the top left or the middle left kind of thing, the distance, just subtract 3 from it, okay? Just so you don't get lost. I'm gonna try and remind you guys and also say the correct distance in this video, in this Recon. Now, one of the most important things that I want to talk about really, really fast during this Recon is how kind of simple this route is. As a time trial course, there's a few things that make a good time trial course. One is kind of obscurities, right? Certain climbs that are like, okay, you need to push on this climb. You need to up the wattage. You need to be faster than other teams and getting your rotations right, whatever it may be. This time trial course is all about being a team and having good rotations and also understanding the weight of your riders during downhill sections and slight inclines. Now, what I mean about this is the entire route is basically rollers, but there's nothing about it that's huge rollers, like Titan's Grove, for example. It's nothing like that. It's a little bit of 3%, some 4%. I think there's one 5% part that obviously you're going to want to go higher wattage than you typically do. But other than that, it's quite a simple route for me to even recon. Into the route, you guys are going to have a 4% decline into a flat, into another negative 2% incline, and basically what you want to do is kind of slingshot off of each other, have your bigger riders in the back putting on some power, fly through the group. The smaller riders that are in the front are now in the back, but they're on the wheels of the bigger riders and kind of slingshot through. This is going to increase top speed, it's going to increase your pulls, and also just get you hopefully a faster climb. So I would recommend that on all of the downhills that you see. Try to launch each other through that speed bump, I guess you could call it. Now, one of the big things that I do want to talk about on team time trials is being one with each other. This is a team time trial, not an individual time trial. You need to understand who's strongest, who's the weakest people on your team, because that's going to matter so much. You don't want people pulling at 350 watts if your third person in line can't even hold the wheel of the people in front of you. Make sure you're in a line and just pull at what you can. A big tip that I learned last season on my Z-Sun squad was myself and Scott, two of the strongest riders on the team, were pulling for 60 seconds. And then throughout the group, number 3, 4, 5, they were pulling at 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 seconds. And then we were having people in the fourth wheel, which is probably the best wheel to be on, is going to be someone that's just not pulling at all until they feel like they can't do too much more. They pull for a hard effort, all they can do, and get through whatever part of the segment you're on. Overall, like I said, this is not a technical team time trial, but it's just long rollers that are very small, I would say. And personally, I think coming back after the desert area is going to be the tougher part of the course. Now we are going to take a look at 2 of the spots that I think are going to be key to making sure that you get up and down very smoothly, fast, and hopefully not blow a tire. Now at around 3.9 kilometers into the ride, you guys are going to cross that wooden bridge and start up a longer kind of climb part. It's nothing too crazy, I think 3-4%, but make sure that you're increasing the power on this. It's about a few hundred meters long, so you're going to want to make sure that that pace gets up, gets high, and you're able to get up and over it until the end of it, where it gets back to 0 and eventually goes down into a decline. You want to make sure that you're continuing your power even when it's at 0 after all of these rollers. You're going to hit a 4, 3, 2, 1%, but when it hits 0, still put the power down. You guys want to get your top speed up and lose as much speed as possible through any of these inclines. At 6.7 kilometers into the ride, you guys are going to be coming up against the Woodland Sprint. Now this is one of the areas that I'm going to warn you about. It's going to be a decline on the way in, and on the way out, it's going to be a incline climb. Basically, the sprint starts and it's -2%, down to -4%, and then it continues on into the sand area. You're going to want to keep that top speed up. Like I said, that slingshot. Have your back riders starting in the back. Having your bigger riders starting in the back of the peloton, back of your group, and slingshot through during this decline. You guys are going to keep the speed up on the sand and be able to hit the incline with as much top speed as possible. And then as we go up the small incline, your bigger riders are going to fade a little behind, and your smaller riders are going to get up and help with the draft. Basically, these are the only tough parts of the route. Only issues about it is that you want to keep that top speed, you want to keep the power up, especially when you get to the top of these inclines. Don't stop. Wait for about 5-10 more seconds of just hard efforts, and then you can get back into your normal pulls. Now, as we're halfway done with the route, you guys are going to go into the desert, do the little circle roundabout, and come right back at it. Again, this is going to just repeat 10,000 times to make sure you get it into your brains. These inclines, keep the power down, increase the power, and even when you get to the top, keep that high power up so that you can continue getting that top speed higher and higher and faster and faster. This is where the good teams are going to separate from the bad teams during this route. It doesn't matter if you guys are holding the same power throughout your pulls on 2 different teams, that is. If one team is going to be holding that higher power as they go up the incline and then keep going just a little bit farther to get that top speed just where it needs to be, that is the team that's going to beat the team that's putting more watts into those mini climbs, those mini inclines, and then just fading back onto their regular pulls the second it goes to 0. So that's going to be my tip of the entire time trial. If you want to win it, bookmark it, save it, do it again. 13.6 kilometers into the route is going to be the hardest section, in my opinion. You're going to be going up a long roller, and then basically it's going to go into a quick descent, and then you're going to have another somewhat long incline that's only about 3%, 4%, but you're going to need to keep that power up and keep grinding. At this point, you're almost done. You only have a little less than half of the route left, but you're going to go up, you're going to keep that power high, and then you're going to go into the descent towards the Woodland Sprint yet again. Now remember, the Woodland Sprint was easy on the way out. On the way in, on the way back, it's going to be an incline, and it peaks at about 5%. So make sure you get that speed up quickly, going through the sand, going through that banner, and then up towards the start of the sprint. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for cutting in here on a different microphone and everything. The ending has finally been updated that I know of, And basically what's going to happen is we are going to come down into the town here. We're going to do that little loop to the right and then come out of it and go towards the Sasquatch Sprint. So it is going to end on the Sasquatch Sprint, but it's going to be a loop. It's basically a bow tie of a route. The desert and that little loop thing back through the coast and ends on the Sasquatch Sprint. I hope it's not too confusing, but I'm sorry for, I guess, the crappy, however you want to call this. It's the issue that comes out when routes aren't officially launched in the game, and things need to be recorded and edited and put out for the public recons. So I hope this isn't what's going to happen for the next few, which I know it won't, but there's the ending, and thank you for watching. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking around for this whole recon. It's a ton of information, and these first few rounds are going to be a little bit longer, trying to explain the rules, the regulations, the point structure, everything about this new Zwift Racing League series, I guess. Everything's kind of a little bit new series, new rounds, new year. It's the Zwift Racing League. It's still one of the most competitive racing series in Zwift, up there against some of the other ones, Dirt, Herd, FRR, Chasing Yellow, whatever racing series there are. This is the one you're not going to want to miss. Welcome to round one, the Coastal Clash. And that's going to be the route Southern Coastal Cruise. We'll see you guys next time, and make sure to hit the likes button, subscribe, helps me out, and we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of October. Can we do it? I hope so. See you guys next time.